Chelsea atop of the Barclays Premier League table for now. Didier Drogba got the present he wanted, a first league goal of the season. Frank Lampard also on target for Scolari's Blues against bottom club West Bromwich Albion. Newly crowned world champions Manchester United left it late to beat 10-man Stoke City, but Carlos Tevez' 83rd minute goal enough to help the champions keep the pressure on the Premier League leaders. Craig Bellamy showed why he could be one of the most wanted players in the January transfer window. He scored 2 goals as West Ham won for just the second time in 13 games away at Portsmouth. Fulham frustrated Spurs at White Hart Lane. 4th successive 0-0 away draw for Roy Hodgson's men. It's now just 1 win in 4 for Harry Redknapp's Tottenham. Fulham unbeaten in 8. Good afternoon. The Boxing Day fixture list kicked off at lunchtime. Those results set the agenda for 5 more Barclays Premier League games that kicked off at 3 o'clock. We're going to follow the closing stages of all those matches and all today's Football League matches between now and the final whistles. Martin is keen, Steve will bring clarity, Mark is bright as the Christmas football programme of games makes progress. It's Keown, Claridge and Bright concentrating on the Barclays Premier League games still underway. There's time for scorelines to change in matches still being played, one of which is Liverpool versus Bolton. Dan Walker's at Anfield.
That's right, it's Liverpool's home form which has been a big concern this season. The last 3 at Anfield have all been drawn, but no such struggle today. Albert Riera's poke home from Steven Gerrard's corner just before the half hour really did settle the nerves here at Anfield, and throughout that game they've been in complete control. Robbie Keane scored 2 just after half-time to really wrestle the match away from Bolton. His 6th of the season was a leathered strike past Jussi Jääskeläinen. His 7th followed soon after, a wonderful move, rolled out by Pepe Reina, straight to Alonso, who fired it over to Benayoun, who found Keane 6 yards out to make it 3-0. Rafael Benitez is back from his operation and his team are on their way back to the top.
Latest news now on the Wigan-Newcastle game. 1 defeat in 7 for Wigan, only 2 in 12 for Newcastle under Joe Kinnear. Richard Askham reporting.
Wigan 2, Newcastle 0. Ray Amiyazaki has just scored for Wigan from the penalty spot. Emil Heskey brought down in full flow. The referee did try to let it go, but Heskey was eventually hauled down and he pointed to the spot. Sebastian Bassong was also sent off for the challenge. Zaki making no mistake with a clinical finish. This after Ryan Taylor gave Wigan the lead with a stunning free kick in the first half. Newcastle, who were starting to rouse themselves, are now down to 10 men and trail 2-0.
Remarkable scenes at half-time at the City of Manchester Stadium. Manchester City beating Hull City by 4 goals to 0. Hull manager Phil Brown decided to take his players towards the Hull supporters and absolutely tore a strip off them. He let it be known exactly what he thought of their performance. Manchester City had raced into the lead and Hull just weren't at the races. Great season for Hull City so far, but Phil Brown making his feelings known of exactly what he thought of his players in the first 45 minutes. Alan Biggs is watching Hull's efforts to turn things around, but the result is going Manchester City's way, of course.
Yes, it's Manchester City punching their weight at last, and Hull, as you say, out for the count by half-time and then made to sit down in apparent disgrace on the field by their manager. Manchester City also did their talking on the pitch, and how some super stuff. 2 goals apiece from Philippe, Caicedo and Robinho, and 3 of those set up by Stephen Ireland. Robinho's second, the pick of the bunch, and it's as if the first half of the season never happened, Ray, for either of these clubs. Manchester City lead 4-0.
Manchester City out of the relegation places. Middlesbrough have slipped down the table. They were 2 points from a relegation place when the game against Everton at the Riverside kicked off. 6 wins from 9 away games for the Blues ahead of this game. Damien Johnson reporting.
They're on course again, Everton. Middlesbrough 0, Everton 1. Tim Cahill's goal, the difference between the two sides. His initial header was well saved by Ross Turnbull, but the makeshift striker found the net after a couple of nibbles at the rebound, that at the start of this second half. Everton youngster Dan Gosling should have made it 2-0 on his debut, blazing over when well placed. He's playing instead of Leon Osman, who's injured. Middlesbrough have been poor again, it has to be said. Tunchai walked straight down the tunnel when substituted by Borough boss Gareth Southgate. They're pressing for an equaliser now, but it's probably a little too late. They trail by a goal to 0.
Let's go back to the City of Manchester Stadium. Another goal. Alan Biggs reporting.
Yeah, a semblance of respectability for Hull, whose second-half performance has certainly showed more fight and purpose. Craig Fagan, on as substitute, has scrambled a goal back for them. Fagan on his comeback from breaking a leg back in September. It's not going to change the result. Manchester City 4, Hull City 1.
Successive wins and 8 goals prompting talk. The caretaker boss Ricky Sabrazia should be the new Sunderland manager. New Blackburn boss Sam Allardyce got off to a great start with a win last Saturday. Steve Sutton reports from the Stadium of Light.
Well, as it stands, Ray, both new managers are still unbeaten because it's 0-0. Sunderland with the better of the first half. Cisse close on 3 minutes, but a great save from Paul Robinson in the second half. Blackburn had the ball in the net, but it was disallowed. Pedersen forced a brilliant save from Fulham, as did Keith Andrews a few moments later. But no one's made the breakthrough, 0-0.
Fascinating afternoon. Who would have said a week ago that Robbie Keane would be the man of the moment for Liverpool? Liverpool on their way back to the top of the table and Keane scoring goals.
Yeah, 3 goals, 2 games, 2 today. Looked the part as well, looks confident, good finish. And really, goals coming at the right time. But, you know, will he or won't he leave in January? At this moment in time, Torres is on his way back fit. You would say that Robbie Keane's obviously right at the forefront of the manager's mind. He's in form, he's confident. Strength and depth for Liverpool, it would appear. What are your thoughts on Phil Brown keeping the whole players out on the pitch and letting everyone know very publicly that he was very, very unhappy with his players' performance?
I don't really think he really needs to do that. I mean, he can do that in the confines of his own dressing room. I think that's a little bit for show for me. I think that's a divisive measure rather than bringing people together. And when the players get on the coach after the game, they'll be talking about that, and you know, I don't think they'll be speaking in favourable terms. They've had a fantastic year. He's done brilliantly. They've done brilliantly. They've come back from bad games like this. I remember the Wigan game early on in the season. They came back from that. They'll come back from this again. I think it's a little bit over the top at this stage.
It's going to be a talking point, though, isn't it? This public humiliation of the players on the pitch. He's disappointed with the performance, but you don't do it like that. I think he'd be disappointed when he looks at this tonight. He got the team off eventually, and they were versed out onto the pitch for the second half. But they've been better in the second half. But
Man City, the game's over, mate.
Right,
let's be honest, the game's finished.
There's another goal in that match. Let's go back to Alan Biggs.
Yes, Hull City pulled one back, but it's Manchester City now 5-1 in front. Rubinho with a little dinking low cross from the left, and Stephen Ireland just nonchalantly, casually, left-footed, finishing into the roof of the net as befits the ease of Manchester City's victory. They're 5-1 up now.
Phil Brown on the pitch with the whole players at half-time is going to be a major talking point. Let's get the details on the matches that kicked off at lunchtime now. Chelsea against West Bromwich Albion. David Garrido.
The only thing Luis Felipe Scolari could complain about is the fact the scoreline should have been more convincing, but that would be a little bit bar humbug. Didier Drogba proved a partnership with Nicolas Anelka can work. His was a lively performance, which began with a headed goal from across from Joe Cole, who was equally impressive. Cole was also involved in the second, playing in namesake Ashley, and Frank Lampard's nifty footwork from close range did the rest. Albion rarely posed any serious threat, save the odd long-range effort from Chris Brunt. No Christmas hangover then for Chelsea, but West Brom need to rouse themselves from their festive slumber, and sharpish too, if they're going to avoid the drop this season. Chelsea 2, West Brom 0.
World Club champions Manchester United return to Premier League action away at Stoke City. Roger Johnson watched the game at the Britannia Stadium.
Stoke City 0, Manchester United 1. A Carlos Tevez tap-in 7 minutes from time, giving United all 3 festive points on their first visit to Stoke for a league match in 24 years. The home side had frustrated the new World Club champions almost to the very end, but the sending off of right-back Andy Wilkinson for a second yellow card 15 minutes from time proved a crucial blow. United substitute Dimitar Berbatov found the space to tee up Tevez, and he made no mistake from 3 yards out. Both keepers made smart saves in a lively second half after a lacklustre opening, but United's focus is now clearly back on domestic matters after a hard-fought but deserved victory. They've beaten Stoke City here by 1-0.
It was 2 wins in 9 for Portsmouth going into a game with West Ham. West Ham reported to have financial concerns. 1 win in 12 for the Hammers going into this match. A great victory for them. Andy Barwell reporting.
West Ham say they normally don't comment on press stories, but Craig Bellamy is not for sale. The Welsh striker doubled his tally for the season with a couple of well-taken goals here, and Carlton Cole scored his first goal in 9 games. Hard to believe that Portsmouth should have been out of sight by then, but the villain of the piece was their striker Jermaine Defoe. It was 1 apiece, first half stoppage time. Defoe's penalty kick went wide against one of his former clubs. Portsmouth were then hit with a series of second half sucker punches. Results are not going their way, and Tony Adams' team are slipping into trouble. It finished Portsmouth 1, West Ham 4.
Too late for Nottingham Forest, it would appear. They were 4 down. A 7-game unbeaten run for Fulham. They went to Spurs this afternoon. Mark Bishop reporting.
A year ago, Fulham, already staring relegation in the face, came to White Hart Lane without a manager and were drubbed 5-1 into the bargain. How different things are 12 months on. Roy Hodgson's side frustrated Spurs today and could have even won the match had it not been for another terrific save from Gomez to deny Johnson at close range. Pavlyuchenko eventually came off the bench to replace the hapless Darren Bent, but these days Fulham are a well-organised unit and they were again solid at the back, even without Hangeland, who had flu. Schwarzer and Gomez made brilliant saves in the first half to deny Lennon and Dempsey respectively. Harry Redknapp's side badly need to start scoring goals.
Yeah, they're not that far from the relegation places. Were Manchester United impressive at Stoke?
Well, they were. I mean, it's a very difficult place to go and play. The atmosphere that those Stoke fans create, it was difficult conditions on the day, very windy, blowy. He made 6 changes to the team that won the World Championship in midweek, but they still came out and gave a good performance. And Manchester United now, it just looks like they're going from strength to strength. While they've been away, of course, no one's been able to get away in terms of points. And now it's starting to look like, can it be Manchester United's year again?
Yeah, that's right. Ferguson says they've got a lot more unity away. Drogba and Anelka together for Chelsea. Did they look good?
Yes, Drogba made all the difference to me. He scored a fantastic centre-forwards header, classic header from the far post, back across. He led the line. Anelka fed off him well. I mean, as we know, Anelka's done ever so well while Drogba's been out, 16 goals, but now the pair of them back, sorted out their home form, back on the winning trail.
Portsmouth aren't going to be that far away from the relegation places, you know, when we get to 5 o'clock. This is 2 wins in 10 under Tony Adams. What's your impression of Portsmouth and well-played West Ham, we should say?
Yeah, there's a very uneven look to Portsmouth's team. There's some good players and some very average players, and those average players certainly didn't perform today. Jermaine Defoe has been a real point of concern for me over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He could have been the difference between them winning 2 of those games and not. And I just wonder whether or not he might have just lost his focus, you know, with regard to the last couple of weeks and what's gone on at that club. So there are definitely worrying times, although this wasn't a true reflection of this game because Portsmouth, for an hour, completely dominated.
And no football in Scotland today. Tomorrow's fixture list includes an Old Firm game at Ibrox. We turn now to the Championship matches, and there's the story of a London derby between Charlton and Queen's Park Rangers. Kicked off at 1 o'clock. Simon Mann was at the Valley.
Charlton are 1 match away from equalling their longest run without a victory, 16 back in 1955. But they had enough spirit to come back twice through 2 Nicky Bailey headers against a Rangers side who had more quality but couldn't nail down a victory. Rangers even had a goal disallowed in stoppage time. Ledesma scored off the bar after Helgeson had hit the post. Referee Paul Taylor found a foul. Lee Cook's excellent free kick gave Rangers a half-time lead. Then came the first of Bailey's headers from Lloyd Sam's right-wing cross. Dexter Blackstock's cool finish made it 2-1 before Bailey scored from just inside the box with Radek Cherney stranded. Sam missed a great chance to make it 3-2 to Charlton, but they only just hung on, and they visit Bramall Lane on Sunday, desperately hoping not to equal that record.
2 other results in the Championship already in. Watford 2, Bristol City 4, Crystal Palace 3, Norwich 1. News now on the leaders, Wolves. Wolves, they had a 9-point cushion at the start of the season. But I'm hearing about a goal in the Reading match. Reading at home to Cardiff. Tony Gubber.
Ray, the stadium clock shows 10 seconds left to play, and it's Reading 0. It's Cardiff City 1. What a match this has been. And it's Michael Chopra who's popped through to score the goal. Just so much endless pressure at both ends. It's been an absolutely absorbing game. And Cardiff look as if they're going to be only the 3rd team this season to take league points away from the Medeski. Southampton won here, QPR got a goalless draw, but apart from that, Reading have taken maximum points from 10 of their 12 home games. But they're heading to defeat here. We've moved into added time, and it'll be a victory that Cardiff will be so proud of, because Reading have been on top for virtually all the game. They haven't managed to beat Peter Enkelman in that Cardiff goal. They've had a couple of chances themselves, Cardiff, but it's their battling qualities and the way they've been set up by David Jones which is going to win this game for them. Chopra with the goal in the last minute. We're still playing.
Third place Birmingham are leading too. Let's hear about the leaders Wolves. They're at home to Sheffield United. Andy Mays at Molineux.
It's one apiece at a packed Molineux, Ray, with both sides pushing for a late winner. Wolves defender Neil Collins opened the scoring, rising to nod home a Michael Kitely corner. James Beattie, who's had a cracking match despite passing a late fitness test, tapped in the equaliser, but either side are both going for the winner. Wolves 1, Sheffield United 1.
Let's go to the Wigan-Newcastle match. Richard Askham.
You join me, Ray, as Newcastle get a goal back from the spot. Danny Guthrie blasting the ball straight down the middle. It was a debatable penalty decision. Chris Kirkland coming out of his goal to challenge Andy Carroll. Mario Melchiot was also around the area as well. Carroll went down. Referee Mike Dean pointed to the spot, and Danny Guthrie has put it away. It's Wigan 2, Newcastle 1.
Chance for Newcastle to save the day. Leeds against Leicester. Leicester, the League One leaders. Ben Jacobs at Ellen Road.
Leeds 1, Leicester Leeds. Substitute Robert Snodgrass sliding in at the back post after Jonathan Howson's cross. Matt Oakley drilled in for Leicester. 1 minute inside injury time, the equaliser. 3 minutes still to play. An exciting finish. Simon Grayson looks like taking points in his first game in charge at Ellen Road. It's Leeds 1, Leicester 1.
Let's hear about the League Two leaders, Wycombe, at home to Exeter. Steve Lee.
Wycombe 1, Exeter 1. We're in stoppage time. It's hardly been a convincing performance from the league leaders. Gifted the lead through a soft penalty converted by Matt Harrell. There's the final whistle. They were eventually pegged back by a hard-working Exeter side. Their second-half equaliser came from Manny Panther, but it caught a deflection off a Wycombe player. 1-1 the score here at Adams Park.
Wycombe top, Exeter in a playoff place. Final whistle starting to go up and down the country. Let's go to Portman Road, though. Ipswich against Birmingham. Jonathan Park reporting.
Yes, Birmingham edging towards their sixth away win of the season. That first half penalty from James McFadden, the difference between the sides here. Ipswich huffing and puffing, really failing to get going this afternoon. Their best chance came from centre-half Ivan Campo, who had a free kick that just whizzed past the Mike Taylor's right-hand post. They're trying to stage a bit of a late fight back here, but it's not going their way. And currently the score is Ipswich 0, Birmingham 1.
Nottingham Forest had avoided defeat in 9 of the last 11 games going into a home game with Doncaster. It's all gone wrong this afternoon. How Forest were third bottom you don't know, but Doncaster were rock bottom. Andrew James reporting.
Yes, Forest 2, Doncaster 4, Ray, and Forest have been dreadful, but let's not take any credit away from Doncaster, who've been superb. Passing game, they've scored 2 goals from Heffernan, 1 from Martin Woods, the other from Richie Wellens, and they could have scored 6 or 7 to be fair. Forest have got 2 back in the second half, an own goal from Sam Hurd and Joe Garner with a second for Forest, but they've been down to 10 men for most of the second half. Forest 2, Doncaster Rovers 4.
Matches starting to come to a conclusion up and down the country. Poor run of form, 2 points out of 18 for Plymouth. That was going into a home game with fourth bottom Southampton. They arrived on a hat-trick of defeats. Hamish Marshall reporting.
Well, Plymouth are on course for a first win in 7. Ray and Saints are heading for the relegation places. Roddy Fallon's first half header and a penalty from Luke Summerfield after a handball separate these sides, who have both been hideously out of form of late. The Plymouth keeper Roman Lariu and the woodwork have denied David McGoldrick twice, but these are worrying times to be a Saints fan. It's Plymouth 2, Southampton 0. 2 minutes of stoppage time remain.
To Anfield, Liverpool go back to the top of the Barclays Premier League table. They're playing Bolton. It's a decent victory for them too. Goals from Robbie Keane, and Dan Walker will give us all the details.
Thanks, Ray. An important win, as you said, for Liverpool at just the right time. Bolton sat back to frustrate them, just like Fulham, West Ham and Stoke. They've all come here and got a goalless draw this season, but Liverpool this time were bubbling from the start. Albert Riera poked home a Steven Gerrard corner to get them on their way. That settled any nerves, and the rest of the game was about Robbie Keane, really, under pressure ever since his £20 million move. Well, today we saw 2 excellent goals, followed by warm applause all round. Just at the right time as well, with Fernando Torres set to come back from his hamstring injury. Bolton were miserable, no shots, no goals, and no points. Exactly halfway through the season then for Liverpool, and they are at the top of the tree. Can they hold on?
The second win in 10 games for Manchester City, but it's taken them out of the relegation places. Let's hear from Alan Biggs at the stadium, at the City of Manchester Stadium.
Yes, Manchester City 5, Hull City 1. It's all over by half-time with the Mark Hughes team leading 4-0, but even that blitz was upstaged by Hull manager Phil Brown's reaction in conducting his half-time talk on the pitch, as if his players weren't humiliated enough already. And Brown's words effectively having been drowned out by 2 goals apiece from Caicedo and Robinho. There was more gumption, it's fair, from Hull after the break, and Craig Fagan pulled one back. But Stephen Ireland, the creator of 3 of City's earlier goals, fittingly completed the rout. Manchester City 5, Hull 1.
Middlesbrough versus Everton now. Everton's away form has been terrific this season. Damien Johnson.
Yes, and it continued this afternoon. Middlesbrough 0, Everton 1. More Christmas leftovers than Boxing Day feast, though. But Everton won't mind. They were the better side and won it with a second-half goal from makeshift striker Tim Cahill. The visitors had shaded the first half. Stephen Pienaar rattled the post. The goal came at the start of the second. Ross Turnbull saved Cahill's initial header, but the Australian followed up to score. Youngster Dan Gosling could have doubled their lead on his debut, but he blazed over the bar. Middlesbrough offered little all afternoon, and to add to their boss Gareth Southgate's woes, Tunchai stormed off down the tunnel when substituted. It's Middlesbrough 0, Everton 1.
3 points out of 21 for Middlesbrough. Late drama at the Reading-Cardiff game. Tony Gubber reporting.
Oh, would you believe it, Ray? The Reading goalkeeper, Adam Federici, has just equalised for Reading in extra time. An unbelievable match here, absolutely absorbing, end-to-end, slick football, committed challenges, both teams creating loads of chances, goalkeepers at their best. But in the 89th minute, Michael Chopra scored a goal which seemed to give Cardiff their 8th away win of the season and condemn Reading to what would be only their second home league defeat. We were deep into added time. Reading got a corner. Adam Federici ran the length of the field into the penalty area, and somehow, in an absolute melee of players, he's forced the ball into the net after he'd come back initially off the post. It's Reading 1, it's Cardiff 1. The whistle has just gone. A fantastic match.
Reading's goalkeeper gets the equaliser at home. To Deepdale, where Preston are playing Derby County. Let's hear from Tony Colliver.
Full-time score, Preston 2, Derby 0, and Preston have now won the last 5 games at home, and today they look good value for this result. Sean St Ledger gave them the first half lead, getting onto a Ross Wallace direct free kick. Since then, they did have good, strong penalty claims denied, and also they hit the bar. That man again, Ross Wallace, was the man with that strike, but then they deservedly doubled their advantage late on when Joe Parkins slotted the ball into the bottom right-hand corner of the net with a well-placed shot. Full-time, Preston 2, Derby 0.
Let's hear the story of the Sunderland Blackburn Rovers game from Steve Sutton.
Well, it's finished 0-0, Ray, but what an absolute cast-iron golden chance Blackburn had to win this in added on time. A long clearance upfield. Jason Roberts got in behind 3 Sunderland defenders, only the keeper to beat. He sidestepped him and then prodded the ball past the post, an open goal, and he knocked it inches wide. It's about summed up this game. It's finished Sunderland 0, Blackburn 0.
To Hillsborough, where Sheffield Wednesday are playing Blackpool. James Mason reporting.
It's just ended 1-1, Ray. Managerless Blackpool will be much their happier side with this Boxing Day point. Despite taking the lead through Alan Gow's penalty, they had to stem a sustained Sheffield Wednesday onslaught in the second half. And after Bartosz Sluzarski equalised, they looked the only winner. But Francis Jeffers and James O'Connor failed to connect good chances, so it ended Sheffield Wednesday 1, Blackpool 1.
Swansea fans arriving late for a home game with Coventry could be forgiven for thinking the result would be a draw. The Swans have drawn their last 6 going into the game. Gareth Williams, how did it turn out?
You got it right. Swansea City 0, Coventry City 0. Swansea created more chances in the game. Thomas Butler, Jody Gomez and Jason Scotland had great opportunities. Freddie Eastwood went close for Coventry in both halves. As you say, Swansea have now drawn their last 7 games. Swansea City 0, Coventry City 0.
Well, they're still playing at the JJB Stadium. In fact, the final whistle has just gone in the Wigan-Newcastle game. Let's hear from Richard Askham.
It has, Ray. It's finished Wigan 2, Newcastle 1. The battle of the festive fancy dress apart. Newcastle was second best. Batman, Banana Man and several dozen nuns did their best, but they couldn't rouse a Newcastle side in no mood to party. Wigan, through the excellent Catamol-dominated midfield, Zaki and Heskey were a constant muscular threat up front. Ryan Taylor with a curling free kick got them going in the first half. Zaki from the spot sealed the points in the second.
Well, all today's Boxing Day results are just about in. But just before we confirm all the scores, a quick reminder that via the red button from 1:30 and then here on BBC 2 at 4:30 we'll follow Sunday's fixtures from start to finish, given the Premier League fixtures kick off at 2 o'clock or 1:30 start via the red button. Time now to confirm all today's Boxing Day results. Starting with the Barclays Premier League, Aston Villa against Arsenal is an evening kickoff. Chelsea 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. Liverpool 3, Bolton Wanderers 0. Manchester City 5, Hull City 1. Middlesbrough 0, Everton 1. Portsmouth 1, West Ham United 4. Stoke City 0, Manchester United 1. Sunderland 0, Blackburn Rovers 0. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Fulham 0. Wigan Athletic 2, Newcastle United 1. Coca-Cola Championship scores on the way. I'll have to give you the Coca-Cola Championship results in a few moments' time. Let's just talk about some of the key games in this afternoon's matches. Manchester United, first of all, back as World Club champions. Did they deserve their win at Stoke?
I thought it was a tough game. I think Andy Wilkinson got sent off for Stoke City. 2 fouls on Ronaldo, quick succession. You know, the 10 men, they made it count, Manchester United. Very, very tough raid, but, you know, they got the 3 points they deserved.
Were Chelsea impressive against West Bromwich Albion?
I think what they benefited from was having a plan B, and that was Mr. Drogba, and they, you know, that's where they won the game, because I mean it's the ball in from Joe Cole. It's a deep ball in. Probably no one else in the Chelsea ranks would have scored the sort of goal he did. Gets up at the far post, beats Zuvaloon, heads the ball back across, and that's the goal start that Chelsea need. And when they get ahead in games, you know, psychologically that's a major blow to the opposition. So they had a plan B today, and it worked.
Liverpool back at the top of the pile. Were they very impressive today? It appeared so when I was looking at the monitor.
Yeah, I think today they were nice and patient. They were all out attack, to be honest. It was all Liverpool. Got the early goal. And Robbie Keane is the star man today. Gerrard, of course, making great passes to him. But Robbie Keane now making very good runs and looking very confident now.
Sorry for that little blip. Let's get back to today's results. There's the Coca-Cola Championship scores. Burnley 1, Barnsley 2. Charlton Athletic 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Crystal Palace 3, Norwich City 1. Ipswich Town 0, Birmingham City 1. Nottingham Forest 2, Doncaster Rovers 4. Plymouth Argyle 2, Southampton 0. Preston North End 2, Derby County 0. Reading 1, Cardiff City 1. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Blackpool 1. Swansea City 0, Coventry City 0. Watford 2, Bristol City 4. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Sheffield United 1. Coca-Cola League 1. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Colchester United 2. Bristol Rovers 1, Milton Keynes Dons 2. Carlisle United 3, Huddersfield Town 0. Crewe Alexandra 0, Oldham Athletic 3. Hereford United 2, Tranmere Rovers 2. Leeds United 1, Leicester City 1. And Leyton Orient 1, Swindon Town 2. Peterborough United 1, Millwall 0. Scunthorpe United 3, Hartlepool United 0. Southend United 1, Northampton Town 0. Walsall 1, Stockport County 0. Yeovil Town 1, Cheltenham Town 1. Coca-Cola League 2. Barnet 0, Aldershot Town 3. Brentford 2, Bournemouth 0. Bury 2, Darlington 2. Chester City 2, Accrington Stanley 0. Chesterfield 2, Luton Town 2. Dagenham and Redbridge 2, Gillingham 0. Grimsby Town 0, Notts County 1. Lincoln City 0, Bradford City 0. Morecambe 4, Macclesfield Town 1. Rochdale 2, Shrewsbury Town 1. Rotherham United 1, Port Vale 0. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Exeter City 1. The Blue Square Premier. Barrow 1, Wrexham 1. Burton Albion 2, York City 1. Cambridge United 2, Histon 2. Eastbourne Borough 1, Lewis 0. Ebbsfleet United 0, Grays Athletic 1. Kettering Town 1, Mansfield Town 3. Kidderminster Harriers 1, Forest Green Rovers 1. Northern Victoria 0, Altrincham 1. Salisbury City 2, Oxford United 1. That is the latest score. That match kicked off 10 minutes late. Stevenage Borough 3, Rushden and Diamonds 1. Weymouth 0, Torquay United 1. And Woking 0, Crawley Town 0. Principality Building Society Welsh Premier League, Carnarvon Town 0, Bangor City 2. Llanelli 5, Carmarthen Town 2. Neath 2, Port Talbot Town 3. Newtown 0, Cassous 0. The New Saints FC 3, Welshpool Town 1. And the JJB Sports Premiership, Ballymena United 2, Coleraine 0. Cliftonville 1, Crusaders 1. Dungannon Swifts 1, Institute 1. Linfield 3, Glentoran 0. And Newry City 0, Glenarvan 2. Reaction from managers and players involved in all today's Barclays Premier League matches is on the way, plus the opinions of Martin Keown, Steve Claridge and Mark Bright on the top performances of the day. That's after we've looked at the updated league tables. Barclays Premier League, no change at the top as Liverpool and Chelsea both rediscover their winning ways. The Reds are a point clear of the Blues. Manchester United move up to third after beating Stoke. They're 7 points behind Liverpool, but they do have 2 games in hand. Aston Villa could reclaim their place in the top 3 with victory over Arsenal in the late kick-off. West Bromwich Albion's 12th defeat of the season means they stay rooted to the bottom of the table. Manchester City's 5-star performance sees them move out of the relegation zone, with Stoke slipping back into it for the first time since October. Only goal difference is keeping Tottenham and Middlesbrough out of the bottom 3. In the Coca-Cola Championship, the leaders are still Wolverhampton Wanderers. Reading occupy the second automatic promotion place. And at the present, it's Birmingham City, Burnley, Cardiff City and Crystal Palace who hold the playoff places. As far as relegation is concerned, Charlton Athletic, bottom of the table. Then it's Doncaster Rovers and Nottingham Forest, but fourth bottom Southampton only a point above the relegation places. Coca-Cola League 1. Leicester stay top, but the leaders cut to 2 points after they were held by Leeds and the MK Dons won. The Dons have opened up a 3-point gap over Millwall, who lost to Peterborough in the day's early kick-off, and that win edges Posh into the playoff places. No change in the bottom 4. Crewe's 15th defeat of the season leaves them 4 points adrift of Hereford, who earned a point against Tranmere. Cheltenham earned a draw at Yeovil and moved level on points with Brighton, who went down to a late winner against Colchester. And Coca-Cola League 2, Wycombe Wanderers, Brentford and Bury have the 3 automatic promotion places, followed by Bradford City, Exeter City, Rochdale and Dagenham and Redbridge in the playoff places as things stand. And fighting to avoid relegation. Luton continue to chip away at their negative points total. They drew to move to -4. Bournemouth lost and remain 7 points from safety. And in the Blue Square Premier, 9 league wins on the spin for Nigel Clough's Burton Albion. They now lead the table by 10 points. Torquay move into second after Histon shared the points with Cambridge. At the bottom, Northwich Victoria lost again and stay bottom. Lewis also lost, whilst Grays move out of the relegation places after winning today. Post-match reaction in the light of the day's Barclays Premier League results coming up now, after this summary of the 9 games played so far. Robbie Keane's goal drought looks like it's something of the past. His third in 2 games takes Liverpool back to the top of the Premier League table. The Reds are unbeaten at home in 21 league games. Didier Drogba got the present he wanted most, though, a first league goal of the season. Frank Lampard was also on target for Scolari's Blues against bottom club West Bromwich Albion earlier in the day. The newly crowned world champions Manchester United left it late to beat 10-man Stoke City, but Carlos Tevez' 83rd minute goal was enough to keep United keeping the pressure on the Premier League leaders. Manchester City's South American stars shine as Mark Hughes' men move out of the relegation zone in style. No festive cheer for Hull. It's the second time in a week that the Tigers have conceded 4 goals. Craig Bellamy showed why he could be one of the most wanted players in January's transfer window. He scored 2 goals. West Ham won for just the second time in 13 games. He said you need fit strikers to prosper in the Premier League. Injury hit Everton took the points at Middlesbrough thanks to Tim Cahill's scrambled winner. The Toffees are now in the top 6 after going a 5th game unbeaten. Magpies are certainly not unlucky for Wigan's Ryan Taylor. He's now scored in each of his last 4 matches against Newcastle. Amir Zaki also scored for the Latics before Danny Guthrie scored a consolation goal as Newcastle tried to fight back. Fulham frustrated Tottenham at White Hart Lane. A 4th successive 0-0 away draw for Roy Hodgson's men. It's now just 1 win in 4 for Harry Redknapp's Tottenham. Fulham unbeaten in 8. Big Sam Allardyce remains unbeaten as Blackburn Rovers boss. His team holding free-scoring Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. All the goals, all the saves and all the major incidents from those games and the Aston Villa-Arsenal match still to be played will be included in tonight's Match of the Day, 11:05 start on BBC One. You can see that programme again tomorrow morning at 8:30. We have a final score programme to follow Sunday's fixture list as well, and Sunday's Match of the Day has a 10:15 start on BBC One. The first thing that just keeps coming back to me at the moment is Phil Brown keeping his Hull City players on the pitch at the City of Manchester Stadium and letting everybody know, not just in the ground, television viewers all around the world, exactly what he thought of their first half performance. Yes, they're playing really badly, but do you feel it was the right decision or the wrong decision to publicly do that to his players?
I thought it was the wrong decision. I thought it was bad management because they've had a great first half of the season. They've won 7 games. Drawn 6 or something like that. They've overachieved, as we were talking about. The first time they've come into a real bad patch, Ray, 4-0 at half-time. OK, it's not great. You don't publicly humiliate your players. What you want to do, get them in at half-time, give them a terror stripe on them if you want, then come out the second half and see if they improve.
Steve, do you agree or disagree?
I agree, and I also want to throw into the point that he has to take some of the blame for that performance as well, because clearly Paul McShane, a right-back, was being played left-back. 4 of the goals, all 4 of the goals, came down that right-hand side. He looked completely at sea, Paul McShane. Didn't know his positioning, didn't know exactly where he was. That's where it stemmed from, that's their problem.
The only one really benefiting from this is Phil Brown, because the players aren't really listening to him. They're obviously embarrassed to be in that situation. He's watched the performance, he's disappointed, but you don't really go and do it, you manage it in that way. I'm sure he'll look back on it. We had this William Gallas incident, didn't we? Very public. Get back in the dressing room and calm it all down. The players, they want to relax before they're able to listen. There's nobody listening to what he has to say there. And, second half, to be honest, they didn't really start a great deal better. They got a goal in the match, but in the end, Man City it was all about Man City today. Take your medicine, go away and come back stronger, and I don't think he needed to do that.
That isn't constructive, that's destructive. That will drift people apart rather than bring them together. In a situation like this, you need to come out of it. It's not about this game, Ray. Forget this game now, it's gone. It's about what happens in the next game and the game after that, and that will do no help at all.
The manager vents his anger.
We must say he's done exceptionally well so far, Phil Brown.
Brilliantly,
yes.
Absolutely
I think
fantastic.
we have to say that.
And everybody has, Martin. Yeah. We've all said that, but when he makes a mistake, and I think that clearly was a mistake, you have your right to voice your opinion, mate.
Post-match reaction now to the Stoke-Manchester United game from lunchtime.
That was a hard-fought win.
It was. I think we got exactly what we expected in terms of the type of game. It was hard work, and we had to defend a lot of long balls and try and make the pitch as big as possible. It's a tight pitch here, and a lot of teams find it difficult. So, in the end, we're delighted with the win. It's a really important win for us.
The game was, in the balance of 11 players, and Andy's a smashing lad, and he's had a great game today. He really played well, Andy Wilkinson. But the second challenge was a poor challenge, and it's given the referee no option but to book him and send him off.
Did you find that the Yokohama thing left you all a bit tired, a bit jaded?
Well, we've certainly had a difficult 10 days, 2 weeks with the travelling. Quite a lot of us didn't sleep over there at all. In Japan, had real difficulty sleeping, and say for us to come back. The manager obviously will look at using the squad over this period now, because it's important when players remain fresh.
So there's a lot about where you've got to, the fact that you can play Manchester United on Boxing Day and feel disappointed not to have taken something out of it.
They're a great side, great football club. I still think they'll win the Championship, or the Premiership, sorry. like I say, we can take great out the way we played and the way we competed.
So the other teams haven't pulled away from us, and not all pulled away. We have an opportunity to get nearer to them, and we're delighted about that. It's a great chance for us now to be able to, press forward. We always wanted to be in contention. The first 6 months of this season was always going to be extremely difficult for us with the amount of fixtures that we had and coming after last season. So I think that now, looking forward, we're in a better position than we were certainly at the start of the season.
Manchester United third, Stoke third, bottom into the relegation places now. Do you agree that Manchester United are going to take the title?
I think it's been a good period for them. I think they're 7 points behind Liverpool now. 6 points behind Chelsea, 2 games in hand. You've still got to win those games. I just think Liverpool and Chelsea will have a big say in it. I mean, for me, I said Chelsea at the start of the season, and I'll stick with that. But Liverpool, I think this is the best opportunity we've seen them for years.
Gary Neville was saying there it was difficult to sleep while they were abroad. But Sir Alex Ferguson is saying this trip to Japan has created a lot of unity.
I'd go with Gary Neville. I think. I mean, obviously he's got to say that it's done well because they earned a lot of money out of it. Look, can I just say, it was almost back to the good old days. We had Neville back in the side, then Scholes comes back in the side. Then we had the two boys up front who'd served them so well. In Tevez and Rooney, we had Giggs brought back. It was all about the team that had served him so well. He went with the safe option, and it served him well today.
Manchester United have strength in depth. Sir Alex says he isn't going to buy anyone in January. Happy with what he's got. Good enough to get over those other two teams?
If you think about it, these are the public messages that Manchester United send out. And don't. What you have to remember is that in all the top teams, there's that brittleness of confidence. Who's going to win it? No one really knows who's going to win it. I think Liverpool this year, they look very convincing. Chelsea know that they can go the distance. So it won't be all Manchester United. They're looking good, but we have a hell of a race here.
Yeah, but it's Liverpool who are top of the Barclays Premier League table. A week ago, everyone was saying Robbie Keane would be leaving in the January transfer window when he scored 3 very important goals for his team. And Liverpool are top of the table, and let's hear from the Irishman now.
Robbie was, in many ways, one of the perfect home performances. Yeah, I think it was. I think you looked at overall performance, from start to finish, we dominated the game. And I'm not too sure what the possession was, but it felt like that we were attacking the whole game, and I don't think they had one chance that I can remember. Is it one of those days where you've got to be patient to wait for that right ball? Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we have to be patient to get the first goal as well. Bolton are a strong team and physical side, and they're difficult to break down sometimes. Lucky to get the first one, and when you usually get the first one, then sometimes it opens up a little bit, and that was the case today. You had sort of a bit of a free roll. Did you enjoy that position? Yeah, well, obviously that's where I play, and that's my position that I've been known for in the last 10 years. So obviously I enjoy playing there, and but as long as whoever the boss wants me to play, I'll do for the team, which is the most important thing.
Will he stay? Will he go? Who knows? Chelsea won at lunchtime to take the leadership of the Barclays Premier League table for a couple of hours. They beat West Bromwich Albion by 2-0. Post-match reaction from Stamford Bridge now.
Frank, there haven't been enough days like that really for Chelsea at home, so very nice to get a comfortable home win away.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously we've dropped too many points at home, that's a fact. And today was different. We got the goal we've been missing early in games. Once we get that, hopefully teams open up against us, but to be fair, West Brom didn't do that too much today, and we had to keep fighting and working hard for the second goal. Once we got that, we were very comfortable.
Our right full-back has got a prodigious leap on him, and yet he got himself in a bad body position and didn't allow himself an opportunity to jump, and Drogba came over the top. So, that's the fine margins, really, rather than being too square on the ball. If he'd have opened his body up, he'd have pretty sure he'd have had the athleticism to out-jump Drogba. But there you go, that's football. It's disappointing, and then to lose one, as you say, 46th minute, whatever it was, it give them, I'm sure, the confidence to go in 2-0 thinking that the game was done.
Just to say, we're looking ahead to tomorrow now. There's racing from Chepstow on BBC One from 20 to 1. The Welsh Grand National is the top race on the card. Just about time for us to close here on BBC Two, but our football service continues from now till 6 o'clock. Press the red button and follow the links to stay with us here in the Final Score studio for more Boxing Day merriment. But this is where we close here on BBC Two. Best wishes for the rest of this Christmas holiday. We have a Final Score service that will run on Sunday afternoon, but it's bye for now.